And we're live. Welcome, welcome. It's time for the Renny Show. Hi, Jenny.
Hello. Very excited to be here. Even more excited than usual.
I know. We're both bouncing off the walls with excitement. We are so excited to welcome our very first guest on the show, the awesome Taz Thornton, Pink Powerhouse. Hello, Taz.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. I've been really looking forward to this. I've broken my week off for you guys, so I must be looking forward to it.
We feel so special. Thank you.
You are very, very special.
For anyone that doesn't know, and there can't be many people, but Taz is an award-winning coach and trainer, inspirational speaker, best-selling author, lover of all things woo, and she basically can help you grow your confidence, your audience, your brand, your visibility, and help you to unleash your awesome. She also happens to be a huge part of how the Renny Show got started in the first place. So Taz, it's either all your fault or we're eternally grateful. It could go either way.
I'm fine with that. Blame Taz. That should be a hashtag. We'll keep threatening to do a hashtag blame Taz. It's all good.
But thank you so much for joining us today. Huge welcome to you.
Thank you.
So, as you know, we are all about the surprise questions here on the Renny Show. So I'm going to dive straight in. Your first question, Taz, which I'll get it up on the screen. Because we do a lot of talking on this show, we'd like to know, do you have a favourite word? And it can be anything.
Crepuscular.
Oh, wow. What's that?
It's of or pertaining to twilight, as in the time of day, not the movies. Love that word. There you go. That was easy.
Yeah, that was really easy.
Say it again. Can you say it again? Can you say it again, Taz?
Yeah, crepuscular.
That's a fabulous word, isn't it?
It's a wonderful word. Yeah. And I just love that time of the day as well, that time where it's not quite light, not quite dark. It feels like a really magical time where the veils between the worlds are at their thinnest. So yeah, it works for me on many levels.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the image that's just created in my mind is I'm picturing, nice sunset.
All the wildlife are just starting to come out as well.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Fantastic. Okay, Jenny, over to you for the next question.
Well, I'm really glad that was quite a short and succinct question, because I think
oh God, what's coming?
might be a bit longer. So the question is, Taz, how do you talk to and receive messages from your spirit guides?
Well, it depends what day it is and which way the wind's blowing. Sometimes I will go off and quest for an answer to something. So I'll go into a journey state, which for the uninitiated, it's kind of like a deep meditative state, but it's a bit more than that. If you speak to the indigenous cultures, they believe when you go into that state, your spirit is actually leaving your body and going off to the other realms to converse with the spirits there and to trusted guides and bring back teachings, healings, messages for the tribe. Sometimes because I've been working with some of them for such a long time now, since way before I realized that's what they were and that's what was going on, I can just ask. Or more often than not these days, for anyone who's read Whispers from the Earth and knows the story behind
I have
how that came to be, that was literally, that got published due to my guides. They gave me the publishing house, they told me what to do, and I didn't believe it. And that was one of those moments that made me realize it. I know it's real, but every now there's almost a comfort in thinking, well, I might be making it up, it's all okay. But when that happened, when they stopped me mid accounts or something boring and said, those stories that you've been channeling, send them to a publisher. And the voice kept dropping in, and it was a voice I recognized as one of my guides, until eventually I kind of down tools and went, right, if this is real, which publisher? And they came back immediately. Moon Books. I know, don't be ridiculous. I've been in publishing for years. There's no such publisher as Moon Books. Let me go. Oh,
wow.
And there it was. And so I literally cut and pasted. I'd only got about 4 stories downloaded. These are what I believe to be our versions of ancient teaching stories. Lots of different cultures have different teaching stories, and you can tell one story to an entire tribe of people, but there will be different teachings woven within the
Yeah.
words. And the old people used to call it shooting people with a story, because lots of people might get a different message. And it's so much more effective than hauling somebody out and singling them out and giving them a reprimand. To just sit everybody down and tell them a story. And you know that one person needs the message, but there was stuff for others as well. And I cut and paste these stories. I banged them out to Moon Books. Probably in less than an hour, they'd come back and said, we're really interested. Will you submit a formal proposal? And within a couple of days, I'd got my first formal publishing proposal. And, you know, not one of these part published or self-published. It was a full-on proper publishing deal. So that was one of those moments where when those voices drop in, pay attention, Taz, pay attention.
That's
And
incredible.
This is a sneaky kind of extra bonus question for people who to be yes, for people who want to be in touch, who are at the beginning of their kind of spiritual journey and who want to get started. Have you got kind of a few top tips that would help them get started?
Number one, learn to meditate. But that doesn't mean you have to follow any particular structured path of meditation. So many people think meditation is about getting to a state of nothingness. And, you know, I've been there, but the trouble is I got there, I went, I've done it. Oh, shit. Yeah, because you've gone, you've lost it. The second you think I've got it, you've lost it. So it's much better to think about meditation as focusing on just one thing. And if another thought comes in, to just allow it to go. You know, if you're sitting in a building somewhere and you can hear cars going past, every time you hear a car or a lorry or an aeroplane, you're not going, oh, what colour was that? Was that a Mustang? Was it a Porsche? Wonder what size wheels it had got. You just observe that there was a sound and let it go. And if we can learn to do the same with our thoughts, that's brilliant. So the basic, easiest way for me to learn to meditate for people is to just focus on your breath. And don't even try and do any special breathing pattern. Just literally sit with, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And every time a thought comes in that's not to do with that, just observe it, but let it go. So number one, learn to quiet your thoughts. It's about getting to that point where Gladys agrees, be quiet, please, birthday doodle. It's about getting to that point where you are learning to control your thoughts rather than your thoughts controlling you. So that would be point number one. Point number two, depending on which path it is, if there is a particular path you want to follow, for goodness sake, don't just go and read what somebody else says it should be. So when we're teaching people about the earth wisdom path, the medicine path, some of the shamanic traditions and journeying, of course, when someone starts to want to work with things like spirit animals, power animals, they will immediately go, oh, I've got this animal, and then go read up online, go and Google it and see what it means. It's much better to go and research that animal in the wild and find out what it means for you from there. Because think about it. Well, human beings, what do they represent then? Well, we're all different, aren't we? And although there might be overarching teachings, each one is different, and it's going to be the same for you when you're working with guides and spirit guides. The other issue with reading up about it and going too deep is you tend to project, and then it's difficult to recognize what's in my head and what is real. And I genuinely believe you start to discern that after a while. And the other tip is start to record your dreams. Even if it seems completely random, even if you can only remember a tiny snatch of your dreams, oh, that sounded a bit rude, keep a journal by your bed and write them down. The minute you wake up, don't just think, oh, I'll go back to sleep and I'll remember it later. You won't. And for those of you who think you don't dream, everybody dreams. You might not remember them, but everybody dreams. That's science tells us that. There are various things you can do to help you with dream recall, but we probably don't have time for those today. That would be my tips.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Taz. That's so valuable. And I think one of the things I remember you telling me was that, you know, quite often if people think that they've got a spirit animal or a spirit guide in animal form, then actually it might not be what you expect. So when you're meditating, you might go in with the idea that your spirit animal is going to be I don't know, a bear because you love bears, and in your meditation there will be no bears. even if you think, oh, there might be, oh, I just saw a bear's bottom disappearing behind a tree. Actually, it's the unexpected animals, and I've certainly had that happen to me. It's those unexpected animals that appear. They might not say anything, they might not do anything, they might just be there. So
But
that's
even when they're not saying or doing anything, they're saying things.
Yeah,
and I remember the first time I met what I now know to be one of my spirit guides in animal form in the dream, being absolutely delighted that it wasn't the animal I expected, because there was no way on earth I would have projected this particular animal. No way, not in a million years. So I was quite pleased about that. And the other thing, just on a slight tangent from that, is to recognize that if you have a dream with somebody else in it that you recognize, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a message for that person and you need to go and tell them. The first thing to check if you dream of somebody else is actually, which element of me does that person represent? Because 9 times out of 10, all the characters in a dream will be elements of you for you to work out. And your either the spirits or your subconscious, depending on what you choose to believe, will be delivering a message to you in that form to make you remember or to make you pay attention. So that's massively, massively important. And of course, we all want to be able to go and say, oh, Eric, I dreamt of you last night. I've got a warning for you, because that's, frankly, it's a massive ego kick. But 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's why when we're being chased in dreams, we rarely get caught, because it's an element of ourselves chasing ourselves. So we can't catch.
Yeah, you're going round and round in circles forever.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love that. I just have to interject here. Tracy's watching. So hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
She said it was quite a brave question to start with, because it could have gone anywhere. And I have to say, Jenny and I did discuss this beforehand when talking about favourite words. That
could have been a different C word
really
entirely.
Could go anywhere.
That's my second favourite word.
We did have that conversation, and I said we'll know by the glint in her eye, which I did catch sight of, I have to say, Taz, and I thought, here we go. And then
I thought about it.
We could see.
I'd be disappointed if you hadn't have done, Taz. Okay, so moving on to your third and final question then. What or who is your biggest inspiration? Because you're an inspiration to so many. Who or what inspires you?
Can I cheat and have more than one?
Oh, go on then.
Okay. So I'm going to say my wife Asha, because she has overcome and achieved so much, and she never recognizes it. But when you think that only a matter of years back, she couldn't walk properly. She has multiple sclerosis, and she had a relapse, and she could barely walk.
Yeah.
And we were still trying to go out and do business and stuff, and she was making me walk in front of her and hide the fact that she was having to lean on me if we walked upstairs, or grabbing the backs of chairs and trying to disguise it. And we took some advice of a brilliant guy, Adam Stevens. Some of you will know him. It's a bit like Marmite to some, but we can never thank him enough, who listened to Asha's symptoms and spent ages working through everything with us, and suggested that she completely change her diet and go from being, a sweet treat loving carnivore to whole food, plant-based, oil-free overnight. And I did it with her because I did most of the cooking. And those who know me will know I was a dyed-in-the-wool carnivore. Somewhere online, if you search for it, you'll find a blog I wrote saying why I'll never be a vegan. But within,
never say never.
Yeah. Within like 2 weeks, she was walking again. In fact, it was probably faster than that. And then through lockdown, she decided to get herself fit. We bought her an exercise bike, and she went from a size 16, 18 down to a 12 and got uber fit. And then that gave her the confidence to fulfill her dream of launching her publishing company off the back of her copywriting and content mentoring services. And my goodness, every time I look at her and think, look at how beautiful she is, and she's walking. I mean, she was always gorgeous to me, but she's walking and she's done that. That's, what's your excuse? So Asha, my mum, because she always taught me to have a go at things. Her motto was, see if you can do it yourself first. If you can't do it, if you have a go and you can't manage it, that's when you call the expert in, but have a go yourself first. So that was brilliant. And the biggest one is me in 5 years' time. If I'm ever stuck on what to do or where to go, I will go into my meditative state or I'll journey forwards, and I'll go and find Taz in 5 years' time, because she will always steer me in the right direction. She's my hardest taskmaster. She will always tell me when there's more I can achieve, but she will also tell me when to take my foot off the gas. And I would say that to all of you. If you can, when you're looking for somebody to motivate you, to inspire you, to tell you what's possible, tune into your future self, because they will never steer you wrong. How's that? And you too, obviously.
Oh, obviously. Thank you. But no, that's great advice. Great advice. Absolutely love that. So true. So if you're listening, folks, we'd love to know what you think of that as well. Oh, there's been some more comments. I'd better catch up on those. So Asha says, you can tell a lot by the glint in her eye when you're brave enough to look.
I don't know what you mean.
Love it. And no surprises. She's put ×8 Taz. So yeah.
Oh, X8. Yeah.
Love it. X8. Yeah. Okay. So now it's time to turn the tables. So it's now time for you to unleash a question for me and for Jenny. So what have you got for us?
Brace yourselves.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What are the 3 things that you know you are not doing to build your business and brand?
Ooh. And who's that for first?
Let's go to you first, Rach.
Okay. I'm just going to get it scrolling across the screen. So what are the 3 things you know you are not doing to build your brand?
Your business and your brand.
Business and your brand. Okay. Well, the first thing off the top of my head I know is quite easy, which is not being consistent enough in my social media. It's one of those things. I love social media. I think it's brilliant. I love being able to put my thoughts out there, promote discussion, get some discussion going with people, which is great fun. But doing it consistently is something I've always found quite challenging. So I'm starting to try and be a bit more planned about it. I like
delete try from that, because that's giving you a get out straight away.
Oh, true. Yeah. Okay. So I am being more deliberate about it and putting plans in place so that, I like doing organic content where it's the stuff you've thought of on the day because it's important to you at that moment. But that needs to be interspersed with stuff that's a bit more planned to make sure it is on brand for me and on message with what I'm trying to share with my audience. Okay, that's only one, isn't it? What else am I not doing? Not talking to enough people and showing them the till. We don't necessarily all that often on this show talk lots about business in terms of getting business in what Jenny and I do. But that's something that I know I'm not alone in saying that it's something that can feel uncomfortable. I know there's many people probably listening who also struggle to, show people the till and say, look, this is how you can work with me. This is what it costs. How can we make it work? And I'm getting much better at having those conversations.
Good.
And being, just I believe in what I do. It's just translating that into, having a conversation with someone and not being afraid to say, well, this is what I charge because I know I'm worth that. And I think that's the thing. You work with a lot of coaches, Taz.
I coach a lot of coaches. Yeah.
There are so many coaches who don't charge their worth because they're scared to. And I didn't start that way. At first I was like, all right, okay, I better not charge too much because, people won't pay it. What can people afford? All the traditional things you think about of how to charge. And as I've gone through my coaching journey, I'm not sure what the percentage is because I'm rubbish at mental maths, but my prices have gone up enormously because I've seen the value that people have had from working with me. So charge accordingly. But having the conversations to get them to use the till is really important.
Stop hiding the till.
And then the third thing I'm not doing to build my business and my brand. Oh, crikey, that's a tough one to think of. The first two came really easily to mind. do you know that something that's been bugging me for a little while is goals, in terms of the goals I'm setting, and actually breaking them down, chunking them down so that they're workable to strive to. I'm someone, and I'm sure Jenny and I have touched on this before when we've done the show. I struggle to see too far in the distance. My time bubble's kind of a week, 2 weeks, and so forcing myself to look forward more and to see what I want that to look like, and then working it back. I've historically not been great at doing that, so I'm doing more of that and getting better at it as I go along.
And there are ways to make that work with your short-term bubble. But okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice one, Rach. That's very brave of you.
Thank you. So that's my 3.
Okay. Jenny.
Oh, so my 3. I think the first one is probably I've worked really hard at being consistent on. So last year I was really much better at being consistent on LinkedIn. And this year, since the beginning of 2024, I have been branching out into Facebook and Insta. So I'm slowly. So I'm not doing enough. Video is the first thing. Not doing enough video, and not doing enough. Does this count as number 2? So not doing enough video is number 1. Not doing and not being, I was going to say, controversial enough, I think is the second thing, because I think it this show, we focus on positive, we focus on lifting people up and raising people's spirits, but sometimes actually what I want to do, and I know that I stop myself from doing it, is actually, I'm not pointing fingers, I don't like pointing, but kind of really being controversial and saying things like, we're ready for a workplace revolution. I was ranting about this yesterday. It's like, we've been moving the deck chairs in the world of work for years. We're faffing about the edges, and actually it's all bollocks, it's nonsense. Actually what we want is a workplace revolution. So I need to be doing more of that, I think.
I look forward to reading that one then, Jenny, or seeing the video. Okay.
Yep, standing up for that. Somebody said, do you use that? And I went, well, no, not in public. And they said, why not? And I was like, well, actually, yeah. So I think more, more standing up, more being more vocal about what I believe in and why I believe it, I think.
Yep, good.
Does that count as number 2?
Yeah, you can have that
videos,
number 2.
Number 2. And the third thing, because I know if I don't say it, you'll say it for me. It's the vulnerability piece. It's something that I think many people struggle with, and I do. Partly because when I listen to other people, and this is kind of comparisonitis a bit, isn't it? When I listen to other people's stories, I think, well, what have I got to moan about? Actually, I've been mostly incredibly fortunate. So actually I tend to, in the grand scheme of things, the things that have caused me the biggest heartbreak and suffering are minor relatively compared to others, which is when I've reflected on why I don't do it, because you've asked me that question before. That's why.
But how many other people are sitting there and not speaking out, not getting the help they need, not rocking the boat in any way because they believe that their challenges are minor? And I know some of the things you've been through, Jenny, and I don't think they're minor. And I think you'd help a lot of people by talking out about them. I really do. But hey, I'm here when you're ready.
We're going to be hearing about that soon then, Jenny.
Yeah, and I also recognise in yours, Rach, that asking for the sale, showing people the till, is something that I'm working really hard on this year. And got some very exciting things,
which sounds very exciting. But we're equally not alone, because in the comments, both Asha and Aquila have commented. Yeah, same thing. Making plans to stop hiding the till. It's a work in progress. We find it hard too. We're absolutely not alone on that one.
Maybe I should do a mini mastermind that's just called "Stop Hiding the Till." Maybe we should do one of those this year. Maybe we should. And that was really interesting, because I had 2 different questions stacked up depending on whether the questions for me went more business or more woo. And if you'd gone more business, I would have gone more woo with your question. So it's all balanced out beautifully.
gotta love a bit of cosmic balance.
Absolutely.
You'd think we planned it, wouldn't you? And one of the things that we love, it always happens with this show. It kind of like both on, it finds its balance. Every show we do finds its own balance. We don't have to worry about doing that. So that is fantastic. So we're going to hand over to you, Taz, because I would really love it for our audience. The 5 people in the world who don't know who you are or what you do. I'm sure there are 5 people somewhere who don't know you. But for them, can you just share exactly what we've been talking about, how people can work with you, how they can find you, where they can find you?
Oh, it looks like I've frozen. We've all frozen. Is it frozen just for me or for everyone?
Oh, it might just be for you. We're all.
Oh, that's okay. Well, in that case, I'll keep talking then. If it's just me, that's cool. Technical glitch. At least it's frozen on just one chin, so that's okay. Who am I and what do I do? So I work with people one-to-one and in groups. With individuals, I work with a lot of business owners. I've ended up working with and coaching a lot of coaches, not by design. That's just the way it's happened.
Oh no! Oops, we've lost our star guest. So in the meantime, we will hope that that Taz can rejoin us to finish off the show and obviously tell you more about herself. But I guess we can fill the gap, Jenny, by telling our experiences of working with Taz, and I've put the her website on the screen. So for anyone that doesn't know, it's tazthornton.com, and that's Taz with a Z, in case that wasn't obvious. All the information you need to know about Taz is on there, all the different ways she works with people. And it may not surprise any of you to know that both Jenny and I work with Taz. So yeah, go for it, Jenny. Would you like to?
She's just rebooting. She's just rebooting her computer. And actually, Taz is a fabulous motivational speaker. She, as she was saying, she works with one-to-one clients. She works in groups. She has a number of groups. She works also with Asha, her wife. So there are lots of different ways that you can work with Taz, and I know that she, as she just suggested before, she often does mini masterminds or mini options where you can just on a very specific topic. So if there's something that a number of people have talked about, then she will often set up a special session for that.
Yay, and she's back.
Sorry, my Google Chrome and booted me out of everything. It's never done that before. So,
right,
the
joys of live broadcast.
Yeah, where did we get to before I crashed out?
You were just saying that you work with one-to-ones and in groups, and that you, not by design, but just because of the way it happened, that you quite often work with a lot of coaches.
I ended up working with a lot of coaches, and I think what happened was lots of coaches saw how I was building a successful coaching practice and thought, I want me a bit of that. Wonder if she'll help me. So it kind of grew from there. But I work with people who are employed by other people. I've worked with teachers, scientists, special forces. I work with whoever needs to either get really clear about their personal brand. But for me, it all starts with your soul message. I have no interest whatsoever in working with people who only are in it for the money. I've seen too many people who chase the money, then realize that it's not their calling. And they've built castles on cardboard foundations and they collapse. So I work with people who have something that really matters. Doesn't necessarily mean to be for everyone, but for them, something inspirational for themselves, for the world, who want to make a real difference. I love working with those people, and we'll work with them on confidence, on message, on building their brand, building their audience, getting their price point right, creating their packages, everything. But it has to start with you, because again, you've got to be doing the thing that you're meant to be doing in here, otherwise it's going to topple. And we've all been there. I'm guessing for all of us here today, we've been in a career that our heads and our egos have told us we wanted to be doing, and then at some point gone, oh, this just doesn't fit me anymore. So that's one-to-one coaching. I run group coaching programs as well. My wife Asha and I run a really low-cost program for coaches, healers and therapists called Unleashed, where it's everything you need to grow your coaching, healing, therapy practice in a box, including live broadcasts once a month.
Can I just interject really quickly? That's where, so Jenny and I are both members, and that's where the Renny Show was born, because of one of the activities that Taz and Asha ran in there to get us all doing more video, doing more content that was dynamic, and here we are.
Yeah, look at what's possible. So what else do we do? Group coaching. There's one starting in March that's a real budget coaching program for people who are struggling and just need some support. Jenny knows about that too. I do speaker training. We've got our 3-day Heart of Speaking speaker training retreats finally coming back after all the lockdown and stuff delays, coming back in October this year. We've got the big one, our 13-month spiritual empowerment program, which again, Jenny knows about, which starts again in October this year. We're almost fully booked, and that's Jenny's fault because she's reclaimed her place for a second year. What else do I do? I speak on stages all over the world, both virtually and in person. I write books, and I spend every day just trying to leave every day a little bit brighter, not just for me, but for the people in it. How's that?
Yeah, well, I think you do a grand job of that.
You do a fabulous job of that.
Thank you.
Which is why I hand all my earnings over with joy. And
Jenny, you need to earn more.
I do. Absolutely, you're right. I do. So thank you. We're coming to the end of this conversation. Although
I'm really sorry, I have to jump in again because Asha's commented that it's Gladys's birthday.
It is Gladys's birthday.
So we just have to sing happy birthday to Gladys at the end. We'll maybe save that at the end. Maybe Gladys you can lift her up while I'm talking.
See if we can get her on.
The next Renny Show, the next episode is the 13th of March. So we would very much welcome your company then. And also, if you are as inspiring, awesome and brilliant as Taz, we would love you to invite yourself onto the Renny Show as our guest. We've got a really exciting lineup, so if you'd like to be considered for a guest spot, then please let us know. And Gladys, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. That way. Oh, she's a beaut.
She's a nutter, aren't you?
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Leaving with a big smile on our faces, as we always do.
And thank you for being our inspiration, the start of it all. We feel incredibly blessed that we've come this far, and we have got mega plans for the Renny Show coming up. So keep tuning in, guys, because there's all sorts of exciting things happening.
Oh yes. Right, take care, folks. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you on the 13th.